you will check in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
And if I don't?
Then I will send the sheriff after you, and you'll most likely serve 6 months in the Butler County Jail.
Because you want to send me to jail. How is that helping?
All right. Then we have Mr. Bauer's client.
And I'm sorry, Judge, what was that name?
It is Annie Scott.
Yes, Judge.
Here. That'll be on the record in 2020 CR 82, State of Kansas versus Annie Lee Scott. This is a show cause. How does she wish to proceed at this time, Mr. Patterson, on the allegations that she has violated her probation for driving while suspended, leaving the scene of an accident, and giving a false alarm?
Your Honor, I would tell the court that I have spoke to Ms. Scott. I would tell the court that she is going to waive and stipulate. She would stipulate specifically that she had not kept in contact or reported to a probation officer as required. And there'd be an explanation of that, Judge, that their phone was it wasn't her phone. She was having trouble with the phone issue. Also, that she had not gained or maintained employment during her probation, although I think there's some issues there. There's an addendum, Judge. And on the addendum, there lists a new case. That is a pending case. It's not something that would be stipulated to for purposes of probation violation. And I would tell the court that, again, at the time of disposition, she's had some major changes in her life that we'll want to put on the record for disposition.
Okay, Ms. Scott, this motion to revoke your probation was filed. The motion was filed May 18th, and the warrant was issued May 19th. So we've taken some time getting here today. Is it your intention to admit that you had late and missed appointments and you hadn't paid anything on your case as ordered?
Yes.
Is anyone making you admit these violations of your probation today by any kind of threats or promises?
No.
You understand you do have a right to an evidentiary hearing in which the state would have to call Mr. Bauer and see if they could prove that you violated your probation?
Yes.
And knowing that, you wish to waive the right and, again, stipulate the violations?
Yes.
All right, I accept your waiver of your evidentiary hearing and your stipulation that you have violated your probation as alleged, at least in the original warrant, and find that you have violated your probation, which exposes you to a 6-month controlling sentence for these charges. Mr. Sweeney, you have recommendations for disposition?
Yes, Your Honor. Generally, what I would recommend in a felony case similar to this would be some sort of jail sanction to be served forthwith, and that the defendant be placed back on court services probation with the same and previously ordered conditions. This isn't a case that I've spoken specifically with Mr. Bauer about, so he may have his own thoughts and beliefs regarding her performance on probation. I would think somewhere in the range of 2 to 5 days as a jail sanction might be appropriate, and then have her immediately placed back on probation with Mr. Bauer.
Can I ask?
I defer to Mr. Bauer if he has any other additional recommendations beyond that.
Mr. Patterson, do you have a preference? Do you want to hear the probation officer's recommendations first, or do you want to proceed first?
Judge, I would like to go ahead and present, because there might be information here that is not known by Mr. Bauer, so that whether it affected or not, I just want to make sure that he has this information.
Very well, please proceed.
Judge, after talking with Ms. Scott, I would tell the court that this is a case where the original charges were from February 14, 2020. Ms. Scott, can you mute yourself for a little bit? Judge, as I stated, the original charges from February 14, 2020, they didn't get resolved until December of 2021 when she was placed on probation. Part of the reason why they didn't get resolved earlier is she was in Department of Corrections, DOC, that she had been released in November from her DOC sentence. There was a hold on her through Butler County. She was transferred to Butler County to resolve this case. So when she got placed on probation in this case, she had just gotten out of prison, had basically nothing to set up to move forward and be successful. There for a time, it appears that she, in effect, was homeless. She was relying on other people's phones. She was having difficulty even having a phone that worked during that time. She didn't have places to live, but through time and effort, Judge, she has now a stable living environment. She's been able to get assisted housing. She lives in Wichita now and has a house. That she started a University of Phoenix program to try and better herself through education, and she's currently in that. She's looking for employment currently, and she would report that she is sober. She also has her own cell phone at this point. So through a lot of effort on her part, she's starting to get her life turned around to where she has an opportunity to be successful on probation. So we would ask the court to allow her to continue on probation. We would ask the court, if the court is inclined to have a sanction period for her for violations, that she be allowed to do that on a weekend. She does have transportation problems, so she would have to work around those transportation issues from Wichita. But we would essentially ask the court to grant her to return back on probation, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, let me see if I got this straight. When did she get out of prison?
November of 2021, where she was then transferred to Butler County because of a hold. And this case then was heard in December of 2021.
So did she sit in jail for quite a while between November 21 and December 21?
Judge, I don't know whether she bonded out right away or whether she stayed in there until sentencing.
And then she has lived where since she got out of prison?
For quite a while, Judge. I think she just tried to find places to live with friends or family and almost was homeless. But now through assistance and assisted living, she's got her own place. So she is set up and has a home. So going forward, she will have a roof over her head, a permanent structured place, as well as looking for employment now, and is currently going to school.
So when she got out of prison, did she have any parole, conditional release, anything like that she had to answer for?
She tells me that she has been released from parole early and is not currently on parole.
And why is she not reported to Mr. Bauer?
She did not have her own phone. She basically did not have anything to her name, pretty much. So she relied on other people. She didn't have phones that worked at times, but now she has her own phone.
What's her source of money now?
She's currently unemployed, but looking for employment, Judge.
So how's she paying for a phone, eating?
I don't have that information. That might have to come from Ms. Scott.
And do I correctly understand that this situation that she had the warrant out of Hayesville, this pending case is for one prior to incarceration in DOC?
That I don't know, Judge, but I know that it's still pending, so it's not something she would be stipulating to at this time.
Okay, I understand, but if I may ask, Ms. Scott, is that allegedly for a case allegedly committed prior to going into DOC? Just keep a very yes or no answer to that.
Yeah.
So, okay, next question. No one's alleging you've committed a new violation of the law?
Correct.
And who is paying your telephone and your food bill?
Me.
How do you get the money?
I have food stamps,
Mhm.
and I just moved into my own place. I had taken out a loan.
I presume this was not a loan from a bank,
Correct.
so it's from an individual?
Probably a student loan, Your Honor. Is that right, Ms. Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, a student loan. So you're living off of a student loan and you're back in school?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't know what my fines and fees are, but I have another lump sum coming around like November. So I mean, whatever that is, I can pay it.
Okay, well, you know those loans are supposed to be paid back, and you need to
Yep.
use them for school. Rise when you get out of. So, Mr. Bauer, I'd like to hear from you now.
Correct, Your Honor. There's not been any payments made. She owes $768. I would agree with Mr. Sweeney that some kind of a sanction. I think a 2-day sanction probably would be plenty, but some type of a sanction and then placed back on probation. I'm willing to continue to work with her. But the main thing with her has been lack of communication. She did get through parole. She got off of that early, but she was reporting to them and taking care of that. While she was on parole, I really didn't do a whole lot about the not reporting because she was reporting to parole. But since she's been off parole, she hasn't been reporting. I haven't talked to her since early June. I think the key thing for her is stay in contact with me, because I can work with her on all the rest of the stuff if she communicates with me. Last I knew, she was homeless, living in a shelter, and had no phone. So her going to school and all this is new to me. I have not been aware of that.
All right, Ms. Scott, you've gotten a couple of redos in life, it sounds like, with your parole, and it sounds like these folks are willing to work with you on probation if you're willing to work with them. Are you willing to report as directed and follow your probation conditions?
Yes.
I'm not sure a 2-day sentence is going to make a difference if you've already done prison time.
Every day I sit in jail, that's another day that I work so hard to get where I am right now. Whatever.
But I can't just, here's the thing, Miss Scott, I can't just ignore the fact.
I can go to jail, it's fine. I'll throw everything I have away. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't.
Okay, first of all, take a deep breath and sit down.
I already lost my mom and you guys want to keep taking my
sit
freedom
down.
from me.
Miss Scott, sit down and take a deep breath. If you can't even follow the court's instructions when I tell you to sit down, you're not going to be able to follow my directions when I tell you to report to the probation officer. How long were you in DOC?
I did a 5-month sentence. And you
Okay,
guys,
5 months.
they still brought me back to the Butler County Jail after the fact. They knew my mom died. They knew. I had to have, my family wouldn't even bond me out to go. I had to have my ex-boyfriend do it.
Okay, but Miss Scott, listen to me. Probation is a privilege. I don't owe it to you. You committed these offenses and you have to be responsible for them. Now, Mr. Bauer has said he's willing to work with you, but you've got to at least report. If you don't want to be in jail, if you want to be able to do the things you want to do, then you have to report. Now, if you still want to be on probation, I can't just ignore the fact that you quit reporting and quit doing what you're supposed to. I do have to give a sanction. Mr. Sweeney and Mr. Scott only are asking for a couple of days, 48 hours. That's pretty minimal. I said, I realize you've served 5 months for something else you did. But I'm going, where do you live right now?
I live in Central County. I live in Wichita.
Okay.
So,
And you don't have a valid driver's license, is that correct?
No, I don't.
Okay. I will work with you a little bit to get over here to the county jail, but you're going to have to serve 48 hours and then report to Mr. Bauer. If you don't want to do that, I will just revoke your probation now and I'll send the sheriff over to get you. Want to do that?
I'll do whatever you want. I will literally start packing my stuff right now.
Okay. Now you don't have a job at this time, right?
No, but I have a home that I'm trying to take care of.
And you go to school. When are your classes?
I go every week. There's a new, they're 5 weeks long, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to jail anyway.
Are they on the computer? Would you please sit down? Is this the way you would act in my courtroom?
I'm just trying to pack my stuff, so I don't have to
I'm going to send the sheriff
get my
after
stuff
you.
out of my house.
Mr. Patterson, anything you can do to tell your client to listen to me and cooperate? Because she's not acting like she's in court right now.
Judge,
I just have to get my stuff together and have somebody come pick up my belongings from my house since I'm about to.
If I could have a brief breakout room, maybe I can get it.
Very brief, Mr.
Thank you,
Patterson,
Judge.
please.
Thank you, Judge.
Back on the record in State versus Annie Scott. Mr. Patterson, has the client been able to have a meaningful conversation there?
Yes, Judge. She's ready for the court to proceed with disposition.
Scott, is that right? You're ready to proceed now?
No, I'm not ready to. I'm not ready to go to jail. I'm really not.
Okay.
I
now,
just had a job interview and I was waiting on a call back, but it doesn't matter.
Miss Scott, can you at least sit and listen to me? You see, I have the opportunity to order you to go serve 6 months in the county jail or a couple of days. I don't have to order anything at all. Do you understand that I have a wide option there? Okay, well, I'm telling you I do. And your response to my questions are going to help me decide how much time you should do. Now, the recommendation from the state has been 2 days. They're not asking you to do the whole 6 months. So what I want to know is, you're living in this house, and who's paying the bill on the house?
Me, I am.
Through your student loan money. Is that right?
Exactly.
How often do you go to school?
It's all year. The program started in February. I'm
Is
now.
this online? Do you go to school online, or do you go
Yes.
sit in a classroom?
Yes.
Okay. So your
Yes.
college is online. Is it college that you're taking?
Yep. Mhm.
What's your major area of study?
Business.
Business administration,
Yeah. Business administration.
and what school are you enrolled in?
University of Phoenix.
All right, so you do it, you work at your own pace, basically, as long as you get done within a set period.
Yep.
You don't have a job, is that right?
Right. I just had a job interview on Friday.
When are they gonna call you back or notify you about whether you're hired or not?
Today.
Where would you be working if you're hired?
Subway.
And is that in Wichita?
Yep.
And how would you get to work?
It's not far from my house, so I would just walk.
Okay, that's good, because you still don't have a license, correct?
Correct.
Right, I am going to order that as a consequence for your violation, as a sanction, you will serve 48 hours in the Butler County Jail. And you will check in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
And if I don't,
Then I will send the sheriff after you, and you'll most likely serve 6 months in the Butler County Jail. It's that simple.
I want this literally help.
Miss Scott, if you're not hearing a word I'm saying, if you're not going to cooperate, I'll just full 6 months served.
It's fine. My life is over. Thank you. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Ronnie.
All right, I'm going, it's your call. I'm gonna give you one chance. Do you want to bring yourself over here tomorrow at 9 a.m. or do you want to
I
serve the full
want to
6
start
months?
this job. Yeah, I'll come. I'll do it. I'll do whatever you want. I can't. I can't.
9 a.m. tomorrow morning, deputy, if she's not in the county jail, then she will serve. And Mr. Patterson, make sure we understand this. If she is not here at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning and serve 48 hours and immediately report after she's released to CSO Bauer, she is to serve the full 6 months.
I can't fucking do this. I can't do this. I can't. I fucking can't.
Ms. Scott? I'm sorry, Mr. Bauer. I don't think she's going to work with you. You still want to give her a chance?
If she will do her sanction and report to me, I will give her an opportunity. We've had this same exact type of episode in a meeting, so I'm not completely shocked about the behavior, but I will work with her if she's willing to try.
So with your experience with her, does she calm down and then behave, or does she just disappear on you?
When she did this to me, she hung up and then called a few days later.
Well, if she doesn't show up tomorrow and waits a few days later to call, there's going to be no mercy. Do you understand that, Miss Scott?
There is no mercy now, so.
Okay, guys, I'm going to order that her probation is revoked. If she doesn't bring herself in within 2 hours, the sheriff needs to go pick her up.
I can't get there in 2 hours. I don't have a ride.
All right, probation is revoked. Issue a bench warrant for probation.
Because I don't have a
Go pick her
ride.
up. And go pick her up, because this is not going to work. I can tell this behavior is not going to be conducive to
Because I have pled my case. I've pled my case. I've worked really hard to look, this is my house. This is my home. I have no furniture because I just got it.
And I have been willing to work with you, Miss Scott, but you just will not work with me.
Because you want to send me to jail. How is that
All
helping
right,
anything?
I'm not going to do this, Miss Scott. Probation is
That's
revoked.
because it's not helping anything.
Case is closed. Case is closed. And when I say closed, case is closed, I mean case is adjourned. It's not closed, but this hearing is adjourned. Mr. Sweeney, if your office can get the bench warrant to me, I will order it. Probation revoked, defendant sentence. Okay. We'll be in recess. You can, what's your address, Miss Scott? Miss Scott, what's your address?
I think she left.
And she left. She obviously bent down and disconnected. So probation is revoked. She will serve her full sentence and warrant to pick her up.